we can ask everyone to turn on the videos and we can take screenshot.
Yeah, it started, sir. Yeah, sir. Good morning, all. With the permission of our Dean, Mohan Kumar, sir, and Dean R&D, Muthu Kumar, sir, can we start the webinar session, sir?
Yes, please, please.
Yeah, yes, please, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Madam, please continue, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Good morning to all and a warm welcome to you all for the webinar on a elementary formula to start a tech startup in India, opportunities and challenges, organized by Internal Quality Assurance Cell and NCET Institute's Innovation Council. Innovation is creating a new value or capturing value in a new way. Ministry of Education, Government of India has established MOE's Innovation Cell to systematically foster the culture of innovation amongst all higher education institutions. The primary objective of NCET IIC is to encourage, inspire and nurture young students to create a vibrant local innovation ecosystem in the campus. To achieve this, we are organizing various innovation and entrepreneurship related activities prescribed by Central MIC in time-bound fashion. We also propose to organize hackathons, idea competition, mini challenges, etc. with the involvement of industries. MIC has envisioned encouraging creation of institutions innovation council across selected higher education institutions, and our college is one among them. In line with the objective set by NCET IIC, we are conducting this webinar on the theme Startup with a topic on a elementary formula to start a tech startup in India, opportunities and challenges. In this, I welcome our chairman, Shri J.V. Rangaraju sir, CEO Chaitanya Verma sir, COO Banu Chaitanya ma'am, and Director NES Dr. S.G. Gopal Krishna sir. I cordially welcome our beloved principal, Dr. Jitendranatha Mungara, who is the source of inspiration and strength to all our activities. It is privilege to welcome you, sir. Hearty welcome, sir. I am delighted to welcome Dr. Mohan Kumar S, Professor and Dean IQAC. Hearty welcome you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
I am delighted to welcome Dr. Muthu Kumar, Professor and Dean R&D. Hearty welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Sruthi.
I also welcome Dr. Yashwant N, President NCET IIC and the convener Professor Y.S. Balaji. Hearty welcome, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I extend my warm welcome to organizing committee members, IIC, for their valuable contribution. I welcome all the HODs, staff, participants and students to this webinar. Now I request Mrs. Archana ma'am, Assistant Professor, Physics Department, to introduce the guest speaker.
Thank you, Shruti ma'am. A happy morning to one and all. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Chiranth Ramesh. He is an inspirational young achiever. Mr. Chiranth is an industrious application specialist. He is interested to bring out the fusion between the technology and business side to impact highly revenue generation. Mr. Chiranth is a strong technical and market research enthusiast. He completed his MTech in Embedded Systems and BE in Electronics and Communication Engineering from VTU. He is a young achiever with 5 years of technological experience in working with the tech giants of the world. Mr. Chiranth is currently working as a senior application specialist in Trident Infosys, Bangalore. Now I request Mr. Chiranth to share his knowledge and experience with our students. Over to you, Chiranth sir.
1 minute, Archana ma'am.
Yeah.
Thanks for introducing our guest speaker, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Now I request all participants please come to the video mode. Switch on and come to the video mode, please.
we will just have a screenshot. Please, all of you turn on your videos so that we can have a screenshot. Yes, ma'am, that's enough. We can proceed, ma'am.
Okay. I now request Mr. Chiranth R to take over the session. Please, sir.
Sorry, you're muted.
Your audio is not this one,
Yeah.
Chiranth, sir.
Thank you so much, NCT team, inviting me. It's a warm welcome. Very good morning, one and all professors, faculty, NCT, and students. It's pleasure to be here in the morning and to discuss about a tech startup. Shall I start? Shall I start with the session?
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, small confirmation. Is it my screen is visible to you all?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Can you make it full screen?
Sorry. Hello?
Mr. Chiranth,
Yes.
can you make it full screen?
Yes, it is. I think it is.
No, it's still not full screen.
Give me a couple of minutes. Yes. Is it fine now?
No, it is like I think you are having the full screen, but we are not able to see that. So
Just
somebody in the last meeting also the same thing happened. Please close that and try it once again.
I'll do that. Yeah. Is it better now?
Chiranth sir, you need to share a full screen, sir, so that it will be
Yeah,
good.
I'm doing it. Give me a couple of minutes. Let me check.
Yes, in one of the meeting it was there was the same this one. So they were having their full screen, but for us it was not visible, sir. So
I
that
think
is
it's fine now. Is it fine now? So
no. Still, yeah. Or
It's
else,
okay, Professor. We can
Mohan sir,
proceed.
we can
It's okay.
continue because
No, it's
sometimes
okay. We can
when
proceed.
I am also taking, the students may say that like it is not a full screen, but for
No,
me it
it's
will be
okay.
full
We can
screen.
proceed.
Yeah.
We can
Yes, sir.
proceed.
Yes, sir.
Please.
let me check one more time. You just give me a minute.
Not required, Mr. Chiranth. We can start.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Yes.
Sir, in mobile phone is full screen, sir. I'm seeing in mobile phone and it's full screen.
Oh, is it full screen? Oh, then it's fine. Thank you. Thank you for the confirmation. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, I'll proceed. First of all, I would like to thank NCET team for inviting me. I would like to thank professor and principal sir and dean, and also I would like to thank the president of IAC, Dr. Yashwant also. Thank you one and all for inviting me. I think it's combination of professors and faculties and students who are here. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all the people who got registration over here. Thank you. And I welcome for this challenging webinar. It's like, I would like to say it is around for 1 hour. Definitely you can see the title looks very crazy. Elementary formula to start a tech startup in India, opportunities and challenges. Let's look into it. It's like I want to give a lot of bonus tips here. It's really for people or for the students who want to become an entrepreneur. And myself, it's already as introduced, myself Chiranth Ramesh, you can call me Chiranth. Let's start now. Okay, before that, let me say for all students, don't worry, this will not be like a boring field theory or signal processing or DSP. I'm extremely sorry, faculties. it will not be something like mechanical, CAD, CAM, nothing like that. Don't worry, it will be fun for next 1 hour you can spend with me. And extremely sorry, I'm killing your weekend that is on Saturday morning. But yeah, let's start. So let me show you what I have planned for you today. See, I wanted to go with full of effective way how formulas of tech startup to start in India.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
The slide is not getting changed. You can put a down arrow so that we can also see. This one, down button. Is it okay?
Slides are not changing.
No.
Is it fine now?
Yeah, now it is working. Now it's working.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you, sir. Yeah, we are in this slide, right? Yeah. Let me see. This is all about the agenda of today's webinar talk. This is what I have planned for you today, especially for NCET IISc webinar. I'm going to talk about my first mistake, what I have done. When I thought about doing a product. That's what I'm going to talk about, that story. I want to correlate that story to entirely in this webinar. The second one is I want to talk about what is startup, and how to start a technical startup. That's very brilliant topic. We can speak an hour for in the same topic. And I want to give some great ideas, and how to key, some keys to get an ideas also. The fourth one is very important thing, components of tech startup. Maybe we will reveal in the bigger sessions, or on direct one-on-one, or something when we are getting a paid, and people will take that particular thing, components of tech startup, that I've done it here for exclusively. You can check it out. A lot of bonus tips are there here. Then let's see, as title says, that action plan to formulate ideas to execute. Maybe all students, especially final years, have something great ideas, and they may not knowing about how to execute it, or bring to the market as a product. So that's what I'm going to talk, and I'm going to give you a clear action plan to formulate the ideas and to execute it. And the sixth one is I wanted to give you a very glimpse how the ecosystem of startup works, and what are the different how the startup has been built. And the seventh thing is very important thing, for any entrepreneur, how to scale your startup. Yes, everybody wants to make money. Then let's see how to scale once you start your startup. And then eighth thing is very important, legalities and types of organization. Yes, this is absolutely for how to start a startup in India. What are the legalities from the government of India or Ministry of Corporate Affairs? Let's look into all those things. And ninth one is reasons for student entrepreneurs to fail. Maybe we have seen a lot of entrepreneurs will get failed if they are starting directly from the student side. Let's look into all these things. And also we shall have a Q&A sessions in the last. You can ask me the questions, queries, or confusions, doubts, or if you have an idea, you can also share with me. Let's discuss. Let's start today. Let me move on to the exact session. As the agenda says, let me introduce to my first mistake. It was a big mistake, great mistake, and I've learned a lot of things from that. So probably this story, everybody can correlate with this, because whoever has from the engineering background, they can understand, they can feel, and especially the final year students, they can really correlate this story. This story is all about when you go back, when my BTech passed out, in 2014, this story is all about 2014. And I'm sure you have to collate this story toward the webinar, because I'm going to talk about all the mistakes and how to overcome that also. As I said, in 2014, I started I think everybody knows that we have to do a final year project, of course, in engineering, in BTech or a BE. So we have to supposed to submit a complete model report, a lot of things. So in 2014, my coordinator came and said, you have to make a team, and you have to build a project, and you have to create a report, and you have to submit it. That that's 100 marks for you, and that's very weightage in your final year. Maybe I don't know in 20 or 21, because of Corona or COVID, the value or weightage for the project has been less, but still you can understand in 2014, 14-15, that time the weightage for a project was more. So let me come back to story. So they said you have to create a team, build project, create a report, a lot of things. Yes, of course. Then I started thinking, what can be done and how can I grow this? I was a guy one who do lots of programming activities. I was very much interested in electronics, components, all those things. Then I thought, why can't build a product and bring into market? That's what I thought, and I can just say that nobody was there to to me to guide it in a proper way. You can feel that in 13, 14 and all, there was no startup Hava in India. That's what I can say. But yes, of course, they said we have to do all these things. So I started thinking one day, I found somehow everybody can correlate this. I just downloaded an IEEE paper. I got a concept, I read it, I felt, wow, fantastic. I felt okay, now I can make this as a product, I can survive, and I can grow it into an extreme level. I can have a office, 100 people company, something like that. The concept is so simple. Maybe automatic toll gate system today, whatever we are seeing as an fast track tolls, that was my concept. Automated toll gate system, something like this. We kept a title. The mistakes what I did is I all of a sudden I got fully enthusiasm, superficial. Then I went to my mother and I said yes, I'm doing something like this. She said, wow, it's great. And I said same thing to my dad, I'm going to do this, vehicle can pass immediately, and the money will get automatically deducted. No need of paying money, nothing, no receipt, nothing. So he said, okay, of course, dads will say always, okay. Then he said oh, fine, okay. Then I went and I started finding right people, and I made a team. So there was a concept in all the engineering people, engineering final years, 2 boys and 2 girls works in a team if it is a 4 people. So then what, everybody will be in intention that they will do the documentation work, and we have to do programming and other things. That's what the thought, and we did it. We made a team, we submitted title, everything fantastic. We started procuring components, we started understanding the programming. We were using Python, the Python was very fresh at that time. So all those things started happening. Then one day, I think I remember that was the day on Sunday morning. My dad read a newspaper. By telling that Delhi government is installing automated toll gate system in a newspaper. It was something crazy for me. My concept is already there on the Vijay Karnataka newspaper. Fantastic thing. But the government is already implementing it. And my dad says, this is your concept, but it is already implementing. Then I felt whoa. But still, I just we already submitted a title, everything and all, so we did it. We did almost the same concept. We tried adding some feature, but still the idea is the same. We got this idea from IEEE papers, transaction, a lot of things we downloaded it. We got an idea. We saw this in YouTube. We saw this I just personally went it was a midnight. I saw this from somewhere in the Japan, they were using this technology, wherein I was not knowing that we can buy that technology and it can be installed in India also. I thought we have to build it here itself. Lot many mistakes are there. I understood very late. So this story is, the moral of this story is the mistakes can be done at any initial point of time. So I just want to say what are my mistakes are. There was no proper market research. There was no understanding when to bring a product to a time to market. There is no proper idea to build a right team. and misconception about execution process. These 4 steps killed the intention of getting a product to the market in my case. So today I just want to talk about how to overcome all these things. Maybe like, you know, all the engineering final year students like who are here, around 96 people, they can correlate with this if you are doing it. If you are 6th semester, next year you will get to know. And all faculties, professor maybe have done this mistake in their age also. So let's understand how we can overcome all these things. Please remember this small story. Throughout the webinar, we are like, you know, we are having this, and we are like, you know, coming up with some formulas how to overcome all these things. Remember 4 terms: market research, time to market, and right team and execution process. Before that, let me give you a very glimpse about startup and how to start a technical startup. Most of the people, wherever I go, I've done more than 300 plus sessions. I wanted to bring this as a first slide because people has got confused, like, you know, many times that, like, you know, whether they are self-employed, whether they want to start a startup or an organization. These 3 terms are confusing everybody, including our parents. So when we say we'll start a company, they feel that the company is this, the 4 floors building. The first floor will be reception, 2nd floor will be software team, 3rd floor will be mechanical team, 4th floor will be production. They feel that if we don't accomplish that, they feel very bad. People will not accept us. Let's see the difference of all these 3 and when to do what. Let me say self-employed. So maybe you are aware about this word, self-employed. So if you want to become a web designer, for example, like, you know, if you wanted to create some technology or help somebody with the programming, or you want to become any expert, like, you know, if based on your skill set, you want to do a graphic design, you want to be a CATIA designer for mechanicals. So a lot many things. Then you cannot call that as a startup. That is considered as a self-employed. That's a one-man army who work for or sell somebody's product or idea in more effective way. That's it. A kachori seller is also self-employed. Like, you know, the samosa guy is self-employed, the panipuri guy is self-employed. They are self-employed, and we belongs to technical self-employed term. It's not like, you know, I'm doing a web design, I have my startup, I have my organization or company. No, there's a big difference. Let's see what is startup. Most of the people say startup means only 3 people has to be there. Startup means, like, you know, that they have to do it in a garage. No, definitely no. Startup means it's a young company founded. It's a very young company founded. Maybe, like, you know, the 60-year experienced person, like in 60-year-old tech, like, you know, giant can come and start a startup, even though that is called as startup, because young company founded by 1 or more entrepreneurs to develop a unique product. Yes, definitely. Before bringing the product maturity to the market, so those kind of a company is called a startup. So every organization, initially there were a startup. Like, you know, they have to start with a startup. You know, the word or terminology is something like, you know, just initiating things that might or maybe work or that may not work also. That's called just startup thing. So there is a big difference between self-employed and startup. But self-employed doesn't need any legalities, legal license, but startup needs some license. So I can say 50%. 50% are the approvals are required. Even I'm going to talk about in a later of this same session. What are the legalities required first to start a startup? So then it comes, picture says organization. Very simple. They have a well-established product, which is already in the market, or a well-established service. Such organizations are called as company or an institution or an association. So you can call NCET as an organization because it is already well established. There are a group of people. There is an legal, the business is well legal positioned. All the liabilities, legalities, and equity, everything was organized properly. So that is called as an organization. And most of the people dream for an organization. They don't want to do a startup. They don't want to get self-employed first. So that's what I'm talking about, the formula today. So before that, self-employed, startup, and organization, we have to understand the difference between all three things. Sometimes people say it's like, self-employed, that doesn't mean that self-employed earns very less. No, it's not. Startups earns less than organization. No, it can do a miracle. I'll show you an example now. I'll show you a lot of examples who has done miracle in the startup stages and then business evaluation in greater way. That should not be get confused. So you remember these three words. You understand what you want to become: self-employed, startup, organization. What you want to build also. What is the step also. Everything you have to understand. So let's see next. Let's talk about some great ideas. As I said, sir, you are talking more about startups, self-employed, organization, many things. We are students. Please give me some idea how to start it. I have a good mentality, but I don't know what to do. I have a good team, but I don't know what to do or how to start it. Here are some tips, some great ideas and keys to build your great idea. So there are things you have to find out what is missing in market. This is very important way of thinking to start any idea. So you have to find out what is missing in the market, or else you have to find out through a personal experience, something like a mistake, or probably what you face in your day-to-day life. You should build your you should put all your technological experience over there and build a product. Or else you have to wait for an opportunity. Definitely you have to wait for an opportunity. Or you should be a great domain knowledge or an expertise to become a self-employed. For example, if you have a good, you are a good stack, a Java developer, so that you can develop websites, having a good domain knowledge to start a startup. Or you should have a passion or a hobby. I can say people do robotics. I can say I'm working on this robot. So I have passion on robotics. I do a lot of things with robots. So if you have such, you can start, you can build your own products through your passion or hobby. Then you can do a specific customer requirement. Yeah, the customer requirements always works. My mom asked me very recently, 3 or 4 months back, she said, she was asking me, can't you get or build one device which kills this virus immediately then and there? That was a customer requirement today. We are fighting for vaccine. Why technology can't do anything over here? That was a customer requirement. They need it. That's how you have to build ideas. The next is Me Too. The most famous word called Me Too. Maybe this is something like Japan has the technology, let's start in India also. Australia has this product, let's start in India also. Let's copy Swiggy, Zomato, Ola, Uber, Burger King, McDonald's. Lot of things you can see Me Too ideas. You can find out very niche market which is working better in that particular geography, and you can bring it to your country if it works here also. Then the last thing is academic research. Yes, the money money is here. You can say academic research, you can do many things over here. You can see tech startups, today you can see Byju's, Vedantu, melting money. They are melting money in the academic research. You can also find such an idea, and you can build or make it into a niche, and you can turn that into a startup. So these are the ways to think, to get an idea. So you have to categorize yourself where I have to find out and how to generate that idea. I'll show you a few, yes, idea matters, not where they come from. You can get it from your mother, you can get it from your vegetable vendor, you can get from anywhere. That matters, how you will execute it. So for execution, there are a lot of formulas you have to follow. Let's see one by one. Before that, let me give a few examples. Might be like, you are all already aware about this company. Let's see which particular category they fall here. So maybe you have heard about all credit card users, all the faculties may be using this particular applications who has like a lot of credit cards. So the founder and CEO of Cred is Kunal Shah. Like he talks a lot about cryptocurrency and other things, like how you can reward your credit card and all. This concept was come from the customer input. If you have lot of credit cards, you have ICICI, Axis, HDFC, lot many things. You need to go each and every app and check. That was a problem. That was a pain point. This Kunal Shah found that with the customer input, and he built one platform where he can connect all the credit cards, and also he can reward. This was a concept taken from the company in the US. That was a fantastic way. They built it. And that is melting money today. That is around $100 billion revolution. That's fantastic thing. So the idea has come from the customer input, the category called customer input. Similarly, this is very important. Maybe you are already aware about this Zoom, maybe Chinese, but still Zoom you are already using, or you have heard about these things. Like, this was come from an observant idea. Distance, like, distance, it makes like found to start here.
Mr. Chiranth, sorry to interrupt. Our principal has just joined. So can we please welcome the principal? Please don't mind, Mr. Chiranth.
Yes.
So
right.
we'll just sir. Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Good morning. Sorry for late and because I had a meeting with the AICTE other side, so that's why I'm joining a little bit. And please go ahead.
Yes.
Chairnath.
Thank you for joining.
Only one thing that I wanted to tell. Chiranth is the speaker, right, for today?
Chiranth, sir.
Chiranth, yeah.
Sir, good morning, sir. Chiranth here. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Only one thing I would like to wish to the students and the people who are on this platform right now. The NCET is ready for accommodating any startups inside of the campus. That is one thing. And the people who are interested to go for the startups here needs the guts and the confidence. If these two things are there, and becoming a CEO also for their companies is not much great, and it is very simple, very, very simple to become a CEO of their companies. And NCET is here to help for young chaps. This is what I wanted to convey to in this meeting. So with your talk, and maybe a few people will trigger for that, and they are going to take a part in the industry. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry for the delay and the interruption. You can go ahead.
Definitely, sir. I'll try to give a lot of inputs to your students. Thank you. Thank you for joining, sir. Yeah, I'll proceed. Yeah, we are here, like, observant ideas. How ideas will be generated through an observant. You have to wait for an opportunity. You have to observe how things works. Based on that, you can create. So Zoom is one such. I spoke about the domain knowledge. Like, when you're skilled in Java, you can create a websites, and that can be turned into startup that can be generate a lot of revenue. One such is like, Byju's. Maybe you have heard, and everybody knows about this Byju's today because it has printed very heavily on the Indian cricket team jersey. Byju's is one such that, like, he started tuitions, and then now today is like around $380,000, like $80 billion that that got evaluated. Next, this was a crazy topic, which me too. Yes, definitely. People like maybe has copied from Tesla, but this is an Indian make. So maybe you have heard about Ola cabs, like, you are just using for traveling from one place to other place, and you are complaining that Ola doesn't own anything, any cab, but any cars or any facility, but still they make money. No, the mission of Ola is like Ola Electric is making an Ola electric cars. You can just find it in very near future. This was a very great concept, which was, that might be some part of copied from other company, but still it works in India based on the geography. Second thing, the next thing is opportunity. Maybe waiting for an opportunity is very great, and one such is a lens card. we have never imagined that we will buy our lens, like our lens or spectacles, whatever it may be, through an online. Never, because like we wanted to try it, we wanted to wear this, but like this lens cut has brought artificial intelligence based, like automatically when you click on the like spectacles, that will be like you can feel that like through your face recognition, that will make you to wear, and it will show an image. That's the fantastic concept from AI. Today the AI is booming everywhere, and like all the companies are using this technology. You can find out an opportunity with this. That's how like Lenskart has waited for an opportunity and bought it with an AI technology, and like they have lot of styles, lens, lot of things, like they have built it, and they're just selling it so easily online, and they're making business in lockdown period also. Let's see, the last thing, you have to get an idea through current trends. Like trends will keep changing. You should be like a mercury to understand what trend is happening. One such is UVC sterilizers and face mask. Today, the richest person after Corona or after 2021 is the one who has manufactured masks, or one who are in the health business, or one who developed sterilizers, sanitizers, all these things on medical shops, of course. That's where the the current trends, like not everybody, maybe like if I say in 2020 January, we were not knowing about the face mask itself, we were not knowing about sterilizers, we were not knowing about like face shield, sanitization. No, only doctors was using that. People understood the current trends, they started generating, manufacturing. You based on the current trends, you can build your ideas, and you can turn that to as a startup. So that's what, like how you can get the ideas. Okay, sir, the students might be thinking that, so okay, I like have a good idea, something like this which falls on this particular category. So then tell me how to start that. I've said my story that like I started a project or a product, then it comes, but I failed in like bringing it to the market. So now why I failed? Let me see what's the mistake I made. See, I just want to explain you all the steps to start a tech startup in India. See, for example, you have an idea, something like you wanted to build a smartwatch which is an AI configured, which is connected with an IoT. You want to build a smartwatch, everybody knows that. Apple is making a lot of things today, like that is a booming in the Amazon highest selling product. You have like you have seen and you have used also smartwatches. So you wanted to build one such which is connected with an AI and IoT. So that's what the concept for today. Let's keep that as an example for whole next webinar. In such an idea, so how to do that? So if you have an idea, what do you have to do? So now till this step you have an idea. So now what's the steps to make it as a startup? Since you are a student, the mistakes what will happen here is people go and take a 4 floors rent. They will make like 2,400 square feet like in a hall, and they will put all seats, interiors. Then they hire 20 people, make them to sit with all the facilities, coffees, a lot many things. But no, that is not required. You should understand when to position the what. So in such a way, you have to understand the nature of a startup or a business. So you can consider that as a business also. The nature of a startup means whether you fall on technology, whether you fall on edutech, whether you fall on health tech. There are a lot of things. Even though that is comes under technology, there are a lot of things. You can go fashion technology, you can go for an e-commerce, the trending thing in India. So you have to understand the nature of a business to write or derive rest of the plan. That's very important. So this slide might be like tricky for you. Please understand each step, digest it for me. So the next step is deciding on a startup or a business name. This is very important. When I was working in 2014, I could have registered something like instead of Fasttag, I could have registered Fast Run. Correct. Fast Run was my business name and a startup name. If I would have registered, nobody could have acquired that. Correct. So the first step is you have to understand the nature of a business or a startup. Second step is you have to decide a startup or a business name. The third step is you have to register. That is trademark. Maybe you have seen the register symbol R with a round. So that you have to do. That is called as a trademark registration. That you have to do. You know, even though it's not a startup, if you want to register only the product, so that you can register the trademark on the product name. For example, I wanted to keep it as an charge. Charge is my product name. So I wanted to register, unless until who knows that that is mine. Like film titles has to be registered before launching it. Same way, we have to register that through there are a lot of corporations will come. That is one such is MCA, that is Ministry of Corporate Affairs. You have to register your trademark, product name, or logo if you have done such. So this is the third step, where it consumes very less money, not much. Like, don't worry about it. Just a minute. Yep. So next things comes. So you have to build a business policy that you wanted to build the startup or a product alone, or you are going to build a team, or you are going to hire a co-founder who can help you in all the ways, or you are going to get a mentor. That's what you have to decide. What kind of policies you have to create, an agreement, or a lot of things before pitching your ideas to anybody. You have to go with this particular step. Then you have to acquire all the legal license and registration. Very few, sir, as principal sir mentioned here, they are going to give an incubation. So if they give you an incubation, they will give you an through a written format that so and so as allotted to Mr. Concerned person, and they will give you a letter. So that is your legal license to start your product in their incubation center. So that has to be acquired. Then they have to go for a private limited, GST registration, IEC, ISO, all these things. People get confused many times. They do not a top to bottom approach, bottom to top approach. They will go and register the company name beautifully, private limited. I have 1 lakh, I will go push money of 1 lakh and I'll get a private limited so and so. I'll do a GST registration, I'll put a GST number. I try to get IEC is like import export certificate. If you want to procure any components or products from outside India, you need that number. ISO is something like maintaining a standards. That all comes after the startup stage. I'll explain you in later slides. So people do mistake here, starting from registration or taking a office space, something like that. That is not required. And I suggest for all students, so you can stop here by acquiring a license where once you got an incubation center, you create a product, bring it to market, understand, go. Again, you create the extra features on top of it. Then get into market, then do IMC registration, GST registration, IEC, ISO, once you start getting a revenue or model or a money. That's what you are supposed to do. Remember all these steps. You can click a print screen and you can take this screenshot also. Then say, sir, okay, I have my business name, all those things, I did it. So tell me, sir, there are private limited, there are public limited, a lot of things are there. Maybe you have heard about, the organization names. Some people say India Private Limited, some people say Private Limited, some people say LLP. Lot of things like this. Once it comes to a name of a company, how does that get classified? So if I have said acquire all the legal licenses, what else? If you don't got the incubation center, so then what to do? Is it an end? No, you have still opportunity to do it outside. You can start in your garage. Correct. So let's see one such. What are the legalities and types of organizations that is followed in India? So if you start a business structure based on the ownership, you have to classify that you wanted to do alone. Some people will be there. I don't want to do any team. I don't want any co-founder. I don't want partner. I want to be alone. So those kind of people has to go here, the single owner based licenses. So in the single owner based license, proprietorship form. So that is called as proprietorship form. That means one person is handling one particular niche business. So I can just give you an example, the person who comes for a chef, right, as a chef for our marriage functions and a lot of things. They say, I am a proprietor of Raju Catering, correct? So those are like, the proprietorship firms that takes around 1,000 or 2,000 rupees to register. That's it, very simple. So they say, I am a proprietor. The word or third, the terminology is very clear. He is the only person acts as a company. He is a company. Everything is he only. One single person. So the second thing will come as a one-person company. This is a little bit legal for the technology-based products. So that can be like, you can run like, Java-based web design company using a one person. So if you are a self-employed and you wanted to get in touch with bigger companies, you wanted to work for MNC, so then operation will become very easy if you have an OPC. OPC full form is one-person company. This is something like a private company, but it is a single owner. If for most of the self-employed chooses this particular thing. Then yes or no, I wanted to create with multiple owners. We are founders. We wanted to create big. We want to become like an Infosys with the 7 founders. Then definitely you have to go for a multiple owners. So multiple owners has 3 things. There also you can go for a partnership firm. If you have only 2 co-founders, you can go for a partnership firm. So that is the size of the 0 to 50 employees. When you have like 0 to 50 employee size, then you can go with a partnership firm. If you have like, so no sir, we are 2 and we will hire unlimited people and we will do a lot of business. I wanted to start a textile industry with technology. I want to start an e-commerce. Then you have to go for an LLP. Maybe you have heard like, a lot of companies names will end up with LLP. I can give you example, Daikoku LLP Solution, one good company in Bangalore. So that is called as an LLP license that you have to get it. So that is also a combination of partnership and a company. So that is like, something runs with the 2 people also, and it works like a company, but it has very like a lot of limitations that are there from the MCA, that's Ministry of Corporate Affairs. The third thing is private limited. Maybe everyone are aware about this because like all the companies names will end up by private limited. You can say Trident Infosys Private Limited, Tenet Electronics Private Limited. Lot of companies will end up with this. So that means like size of the company will be 2 to 200. That is something like you can give it an equity, and that is completely an organization, well built, well established. Products are already there in the market. They can run up to 200 crores of turnover. Lot many things you can do it. That's called a private limited. The last final thing, most of the startups don't reach that stage. That is called limited, where the number of employees can be between 0 to 10,000. That kind of a company, once you reach out after 200 or after 1,000, you have to make that company name as a limited version, because that has a capability to reach up to 20,000 crores of turnover. Let's stop somewhere private limited stage. This is how in India, especially in our country works. So you can categorize yourself like where you wanted to or where you wish to lay on, whether you are a single owner, multiple owner. Based on these things, you can create a legal licenses. So that this is very simple. I'll tell you how to build this also, or how to get a way to go also. You might ask me, thinking that this person is talking more about the legalities, this person is talking more about ideas or steps to take a business. Some people will be there, I know all these things, sir. I know how to get license. I know lawyer. I know CA, chartered accountant. I know a lot of people, but tell me, sir, how to create a product organized way. You remember my story? So let's collate here. Let's understand the mistakes. So what we did is downloaded a paper, created a product, and we felt like, we are creating wonder and it will go to a market. No, that will not go. So there is a perfect action plan to formulate the idea. There is a perfect action plan should be there. That means the first stage you have to start with idea generation. That means as soon as you got idea, I got an idea, I have to create a, let's take new example as a smart watch. Okay. So I wanted to create this AI-based watch. Idea is generated. Now what you have to do is you have to do a market research, whether your watch features is matching to any other brands, whether your design is matching, whether your thinking is matching, whether it's already there in the market or not, how much big, how vast you can sell, like, whether your consumers will accept it or not. Lot of things, like, I think you can remember time to market. You have to understand the market value for your watch. Like, if you sell it for 3 lakh, nobody will purchase, because for 50,000-60,000 Apple is giving a good watch, correct? So you have to understand what is the price range you have to work for. A lot of research has to be happened properly. So if you wanted to create any product or an idea for a startup, first you generate your ideas, then market research it properly in the market, not in a website or a Google. No, that doesn't work. Understand your customer inputs, talk to your mentors, talk to the industrial experts, right? Get into what things are happening. Maybe in a Google you can find out what has already released. Maybe you can find out in Amazon what is already in the market, but not what is happening also, or what, like, the new technology is building it, or which is in a POC stage. So that research you have to do it here. Then you have to build a proper conceptualization, taking a customer input. Then one important thing is POC. Most of the students, especially like, in a final year projects, people say, I have done a project and it is a wonderful product when they come in front of me for an interview. My dear friends, it's not at all a product. You have to say, I have created an POC, proof of concept. That is very important terminology you have to use in front of your interviewers, not as a product or a project. You have created a proof of concept, which might be a future product, or you have got a one particular solution. So what you have to do, you have to create an POC with a board, electronic circuits, mechanical design, a lot of things, your activities you have to push, and you have to create that watch working stage. You have to understand how that works, what features is, like, what's the complexity of creating. A lot of things are there. So that POC will prove you whether you can proceed it or not. So here only you can cut down all of your costs. Like, this is a very huge time required. So you have to understand here, how does it works. So, sorry. So next you have to think about schematic. Yes, as you know, like, the block diagram, what kind of a device, you need a Bluetooth, you need a microcontroller, you need a Mac processor, you need a speaker, you need a camera for a watch. All these things are like, device, you have to understand how that is connected, when to work what. After that stage, you have to go for a BOM component solution. That means what are the components you require for that hardware and what's the cost of it. If you keep, sir, no, sir, I will give you the best price in the market. I will sell it for 500 rupees. And your cost of a product is 3,000 rupees. The failure, things will get failure. This crate has lost 720 crores, the company which I mentioned, 720 crores by paying rewards to the, users, but still they might get business in future, but they have lost 720 crores in just rewarding it. So that might happen, like, you will do as free service if you lose this particular stage, like, BOM, understanding the components price. Then it comes PCB layout designing, PCB manufacture. I'm talking totally about a mechatronic product that is called a watch, where it involves electronic, software, and mechanical, all three together. So that process I have written very clearly here. The next step is about, you have to design the layout, how that PCB fits. If you create a watch of big size, that like something like this mobile, nobody buys it. So you have to create how small it should be and how compact you can put it. That's the stage we can clear it about PCB layout design and all. Then you have to go for a manufacture. Then the stage comes golden sample testing. So what you have to do, you have to go to your mentor, you have to go to an industrial expert, show your sample, check whether this fits into market or not. Then if everything finds looks great and you are finding some profit, then go for an PCB production. That means, like, go for an electronic production stage. Similarly, in the parallel hand, your mechanical friend has to start the product design, how it should look, how enclosures, how belt should look, the designing, sketching, all those things. He has to sketch, he has to product design it, he has to 3D model it, and he has to 3D print it. The pretty famous technology today about 3D printing. So they can print it, instead of doing it in a hard real factory, you can print it in a small machine. Then you have to go for a die tool design. These are like mechanical terminologies or steps. So then you can go for a tool manufacturer. Then you find out a golden sample here, the belt or the whole chassis where you are going to fit your device. So this golden sample testing and this golden sample of the belt, when it fits properly and if it is working properly, then you can move for a production stage. you can go for a testing, then you can go for an assembly, then you can go for a product testing, then you can go for an getting a production packaging. Today, absolutely, everybody wants a good packing. If you are giving good packing, the price, you can make it like hell. Instead of selling it for 5 rupees, you can sell it for 500 rupees. People will take it because of the package. So then you can go for this stage called production and packing stage. Then you have to do a marketing. Then you can look into the money. This is a complete action plan to formulate any product into market. I hope it's clear. Maybe I have run a little bit fast, but still, this is the action plan. This is an absolutely for a product which has all the mixture of electronics, mechanical, and software. So this is for you guys. You can screenshot it and you can keep this with you. Let's see. That's fine. So let's go to next. Yeah, this is an exclusive. Please, open your ears and listen to me. Maybe as your principal sir said, if you wanted to create an incubation center, how to approach or how to do that, where to start. This is very important to start any tech startup. There are a lot of mistakes people will do. That's what I said, bottom approach, top approach. People, see, for example, you have an idea. So think that you are a founder. Where to go first? Whom to explain? You should go to your professor? No. You should go to your watchman? No. You should go to your customer? No. Then who? Then how you can make it as a very legal way? How to make it as a proper approach and without any problem in the future? First, you have to meet your CA, that is chartered accountant, or a legality associate. For example, there will be associates, one who can get you in touch with MCA or trademark registration or business name registration, anything. So you have to reach to CA or legal associate as a founder when you have an ideas and when you feel that that idea works properly in future and you can create it as a product. So you take legal advice properly from a CA. Chartered accountants, they will give you a financial advice and current trends, all these things, when to do a GST. For example, GST, people say, I want GST number. No, till you earn 20 lakh, GST number is not required. People are wasting money. People are finding a lot of difficulties in the rules and regulation. They are just jumping into it. Till 20 lakh, no GST is required. So what you have to do is you have to find out a proper legal associate or CA. So that is easily accessible. You just go and type it in Google. You will get a lot of websites. You talk to the right person, check, evaluate, then associate with them. Then you have to go to a person called mentor. That is a technical mentor. You can take me as an example. Come to me, or anybody who is good at technical. You can go to your professors. You can go to your IIC council. A lot of things. Your prof principal. Anybody who knows it technically and who can think whether the products can be pruned or not, or whether the product can be built or not. You have built. So I have something idea called I wanted to walk on a water. If I go and talk in front of my mentor, he says let's walk on a water in after 50 years, not now. Correct. Is it approachable or is it possible to build a product? That's what you have to understand. So you have to go with your idea to a mentor after your legal associate. Then you have to go for a mentor for an experienced sales guy. Of course, they know how the market research. I have not gone with this approach. That's the reason I failed in 2014, because I was not knowing. Nobody taught me this. Correct. So please screenshot it, keep it with you. Follow this approach. Let's come back. Mentor and experienced sales. That guy can tell you whether your smartwatch can be sell it in a market or not. He tells very clearly. It looks very grand, people says in advertisement, oh, it's going lakhs together downloads, million downloads for an application. No, the practical things will be very different. So you have to understand from the sales guys, you need to find a proper mentor for experienced sales guy to guide you on how products will pitch into a market and what's the reaction of them. You have to take a customer inputs. Then if you think that I can do everything, no, it's not possible. You have to find out a CTO. CTO is Chief Technical Officer, who will do the things like, technically, who can create, who can write down a code, who can design it in a CATIA, or anybody like, CTO, you have to find out, you have to allot some task to him. And don't get confused, CTO is not a co-founder. CTO is not a co-founder. And so many times, like, people says that CEO. No, there is no CEO. CEO is not a ultimate of a company. Founder is the ultimate of a company who has built the organization. CEO is a role assigned by a founder. So you should be always a founder. Founder has more power. Narayan Murthy has more power than anybody. You can Larry Page has more power than Sundar Pichai. Sundar Pichai is an employee assigned. He does the task of assigned. Maybe they have some shares, they have some equity, they have a lot of things like, based on their policy. But founder is the first person who has built the organization or a product. So let's come back here. A CTO, you have to hire. Then you have to find out an admin. Yes, if your startup is clicking, then you have to find out an admin who can take care of HR and accounts. CA will be very costly. CA will be a very costly person. So you can take any MBA of your friend and you can just make them as an HR, one who can hire interns, team building and maintaining all those accounts. People, what they will do, they will hire an HR, they will hire an account person. No, that should not be done in any technical startup initially. When you are in incubation center also, you should not do that. Then you have to go for the next thing is business development. This is an absolutely brilliant department of any startup, because your business or your product has to grow, means you have to hire a proper business development guy. Otherwise, your product will be in your research room for long years. Definitely, the business development is a king of any startups or a company. So you should find out a marketing person or a salesperson. That might be a freelancer, that might be a consultant who can help you out, that might be a professor who can help you out in selling it in and abroad. You have to find out that person. Maybe you're not going to give you an initial salary, but you have to find a person who can do this task for you. Then only your startups will work. Otherwise, it will be in your college, or otherwise it will be in your garage. You will never get your 6 digits account. You will never get numbers. So after all these things, building a technical team, technical team is like, I'm not mean like, it doesn't mean that like, you have to hire 20 people. No. One person is also a technical person, and that carries with your CTO. So after all this stage, so we have to look after co-founder. So what is co-founder, sir? You have to find out a guy, one who can take a responsibility of certain department. For example, you should find a co-founder. I should find a person when I'm doing a student project, when I'm doing a project in my academics, my team person, other teammate, should be strong in documentation when I'm strong in coding. When I'm strong in documentation, she or he should be strong in coding. One should be good at presentation. One should be good at getting a components and thinking it creatively. Who can put his hands on soil and do a lot of things. You have to wear the shoes and understand. So you have to find out a proper team. That's what the mistake, what I did it in 2014. That was a mistake. I didn't find the right team to make or accelerate into next level. People doesn't think, stop. Don't take a team as a since sure he knows you better. No, don't do it. Hiring a co-founder, that's a very big topic to talk hiring co-founder as a teammate. He should be strong, which is your weakness. You have to find out where I am, what is my strength and what is my weakness. As per my weakness, we have to find out a co-founder. That's a brilliant step once you are having the product. See, my dear friends, I'm telling you, this all should takes place with parallel way, not in a built in a step by step. No, technical team has to do a product. Admin team has to find out a new interns or market. So business development has to approach this product is happening, this product is happening, how to sell, what is the customer price, what is the customer input. All these things has to be taken care. All these things happen and product realization should take place. That means your watch has to build with all these steps. All these steps you have to follow and you have to build a product. Once after building a product, what you have to do? Most of the people say, sir, I will build a product. How many, boss? 100, 20, 200? Do you have a capacity to invest so much? Investing 45 lakh, 50 lakh 60 lakh, 70 lakh on the and building and 200 products and keeping with you, selling one by one slowly? Is it possible? Do you have so much guts in your heart? Do your parents support? If supports, that's cool, great. But I don't think so everybody can put their money less, something like that. So then you have to find out an investor. Once your product is ready and it is an approachable and you can make money out of it, it is sellable, then approach the investor. Then approach investor to invest their money for a production. No investor put a money for your initial stage, this stage. No, nobody will put money. Go and ask your college. No, they will not. You have to reach to certain stage, to this at least POC, make a POC, demonstrate in front of your professor. Definitely he will help you out. If he feels it is a fantastic, go to your president IAC, go to your innovator, go to your research head. They will, if they feel, definitely they'll help you out. Then you can take care of all the other steps. Correct. If you pass all these steps, then you can follow this procedure. And the final things comes up once you go out of the college and you wanted to stand on your own legs and you wanted to build and expand this scalable business, this smartwatch, which is an AI based. That comes the stage called scale up. Maybe you have heard this word, maybe a lot of YouTubers will talk about how to scale your business in 3 days. That will never going to happen. That is not so easy. When I say that, till the stage of product realization, it might be easy. This can be finished by end of your college. Maybe end of your 8th semester, you can finish this. But this has to be start once you move out. You have to understand the market. You have to understand the investor. He might help you on scaling up the company. Scaling up doesn't means again, it's not like taking a 5,000 square feet factory and putting everything production, hiring a team. No, that is not scale up. Scale up is something else. Let me show you that also in later slides. Before that, am I boring? Anybody?
No, sir.
No. Interesting from the student side.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you so much. Let's proceed. So before talking about the scale up stage, let's say one more thing, after you build the product realization, what you have to do and how you have to approach the way to reach success or a venture capitalist. That is very important. People might think that startup is something getting a high chair, backed chairs. You have seen in real estate, they will sit with the chains and all. No, that is not a startup. You have to go down deep. You have to do all the tasks initially and you have to build. That's the reason any startup guy, any entrepreneur have multiple, he will do multitasking and he knows a lot of different departments. He knows business, he knows administration, he knows technically, he knows how to handle sales, marketing, all these things. When you have all these things, that is called as a techno-commercial guy. So when you have all the skill set, definitely you can do many things. You can do miracle and your startup will never get failed. One such that I want to give, this is something like a bonus, Dave. How ecosystem of a startup and how to do that being a student. This whole webinar, my dear friends, is all about students to entrepreneurs. It's not about entrepreneurs directly from the stage of entrepreneurs to scale up. No, I'm talking everything in detail about students to entrepreneurs, how to become that. In one such a way, so for example, you are in an education system. So you are learning, you have learned a lot of things, trained. Then you are in your BTech or MTech or PhD or research, whatever it may be. You wanted to do a startup. You have a great idea in the college and your college is offering an incubation center. It's an extremely great where when we are working or when we are studying, no such offers were there. So there was no such they not used to entertain us to create an incubation. That concept was not there at all. Now you can see IEC concept, lot of things are there. So the student has come from the education system, he has studied, graduated with a technically, he has a great idea. You can observe my cursor also. He has a great idea. Now you want to start up. So Once you build if you got an like in incubation center, you got an like floor space, like the bench, and like I can say this desktop, laptop, components, anything, everything, whatever is required for the building a startup. If once you have all those things, what you have to do? The first thing is you have to approach customers. This is the mistake, like a lot of students don't do it. They will think themselves like, I am going to create an automated toll gate system and it will be there on every toll gate. Whenever one car has entered, I will get 1 rupee, and one car one time means like 100 times 100 rupee for me, and it will become a crorepati. No, that won't happen. That won't happen. You have to go to your customers. You have to go to your customers and understand what's their behavior. You have to talk to your friends. You have to say, if I am doing this, like if I say, if it is a 500 rupees, will you buy? No. Yes. You have to understand their inputs. It might be negative. It might be positive. It may be double negative. You have to take that input. You have to consider that. You have to formulate. You have to document everything. Then you have to come back, rework on your startup idea. Again, you find business partners. It's not something like, you have got incubation and you're sitting in a college after 2 o'clock there only for 4 hours, 5:30 going home, and like, everybody says like, oh, this guy is doing something. Nothing will going to happen if you sit on the incubation center and do things. No, you have to find out a business partners. What kind of a business partners? Technology, like, developing this product, you need a mechanical guy who can help you on design. You have to find out. If you don't have, what you can do, you can find out a company, you can get associated with them, get a design task of belt, get the belt which is already ready there in the market, find out that which you can only fit your electronics. That's what the business partnership is all about. You have to find a business partners on the left side. On the right side, you can just look. You have to find out a service providers. See, for example, if you need an electronic component, something like Arduino to, like, do a POC, what you have to do? You have to find out, like, you have to go to a market, you have to go to SP order, you can place an order online and you can get it. So you have to find out the service providers. What people do? Hello? Yes. Yeah, hello? Yes. Okay, let me continue. So you have to find out the service providers. Then once you are done with all those things, this government name means to say this is that, like, doing all these steps, trademark registration, business policy, MCA, all these things. So this is how the ecosystem of the startup has to be built. So once you have all the license and the product, then you go to this part that is called investor. So then you have to approach for an investor where they are going to, there might be venture investors, angel investors, accelerators. Accelerator means, like, taking your idea, he will connect with his network to get an investment, group of investment, and he will do a product and he will launch it with some percentage of shares he will take out of it. That's what called an accelerator. Why it is very much required. This part might be your college also. This might, see, for example, if you create an software, something like which is useful for task management for your professors, lecturers, so and so. If you create a task management software, so today there is a famous software called Masmo. A lot of softwares are there, like, from Microsoft also. So Masmo is something like, has come up from the like Bangalore Institute of Technology. So what they'll do, they create it for lecturers or like professors, where they can manage their task, classes, timetable, all these things. So if you create that, so if your college helps as a venture capitalist, because that takes very less amount, you want, like, that acquires only 1 lakh, 2 lakh amount. If they spend on it, and your college will be having some shares out of it. Whenever you sell one particular license, we call it as a SaaS platform, that is software as a service. Whenever you sell one particular license, you have to pay some part out to college also. Or else, when you feel, sir, I don't like this startup, I wanted to do something very great, then move out of it. You find out an acquirers. What acquirers will do? They will take a technology and they will sell it. That's how the acquirers, your college might acquire your incubation, and they can build as a startup and consider as an organization, build it. They can do anything and you can become the CEO of it. This is how the ecosystem of the startup has to be built. There are a lot of interconnection between all the departments, which I spoke earlier also. I think, like, no doubts here. If you have, let's talk in Q&A session. So next one is how to scale up. I'll just I have another 10 minutes I'll take. Yeah, let's talk about the scale up, how to scale up. Yeah, very important, sorry. Yeah, here. So we have finished in investor part also, how to build an ecosystem to go to an investor. Let's talk about the scale up stage. How to scale up, that's very important. People say, what is scale up? What do you mean by scale up? If I say you're earning 100 rupees, next year earning 120 rupees, in the third year 140 rupees, fourth year 180 rupees. No, that is not scale up. That is you are increasing your revenue. Very big difference is there. Increasing your revenue or growing is different. Scaling up is different. Scaling up is 100 rupees this year. Next year 5,000. Next coming years 50,000, 5 lakh, 5 crore, 50 crores. That is called scale up. You have to jump. You have to grow exponentially. The curve should take place. When it will take exponentially, when you are having a good network in the investors, when you have a good venture capitalist, when you have a good product realized already, kept ready to go to a market. So then you have to go into, or then you have to think about how you can grow largely. Then you have to think about your salary. Then you have to think about your returns. Then you can think lot you can buy car. That rest of the things you have until the scale up stage. It's very struggle for a startup. But once if it got scaled up, nobody can stop. Nobody can stop. Anybody can anybody stop Tesla now? Not possible. Correct. That's what called the scale up stage. So that's what the difference I just want to talk here is startup, scale up, and scale up. That's startup, that's what you are going to do in your incubation. So bringing up as a product, then you are going to scale it up into a market. Then you are going to scale up. That means you are making it for sustain for 25 years long, and you will be sit around say. That's what the scalar region called. Next, let's see. This is very important step. You have to understand when is your startup is ready to scale up. When is your startup is ready? That means the first thing is strong cash flow. Second thing is good working IT system. IT system means when you have all the departments. I can just say when you have all these departments formed properly, then you can consider that it's a good working IT system. That is good flow chart or organization chart. And when you have a good team. So as soon as you scale up, if your team, strong technical team leaves you away, then that's end. You will go graph down. That's clearly a destroying. Correct. So then one more thing is you have to understand, once your previously set goals were achieved, then only you have to scale up. For example, if you are planning you have to build some 100 products for testing, and you have to give it for 100 different customers and taking inputs and rebuilding it and bringing it to a working stage. That is called your previously goal. For example, I'm taking it. So then you can consider that as okay, my goal is achieved, my working product is done, and you have already taken a customer input, it is ready. Then you can go for a scale up. That's what you can do. Next, yeah, how to prepare your startup to scale up. This is later on stage. We can talk a lot of things about this. This takes a lot of time also, but still I just want to say some 6-7 strategies. Build a proper business plan. Invest in technology. That means see, I have seen people I've mentored a lot of people. So they do, sir, I will do myself a graphic design. I will do digital marketing myself. I will put ads on Google myself. Be a technical guy. You do what is your strength. Don't do multiple things once your product is ready. Until then, do it. But still, once you wanted to scale it up, don't do multitasking. Be genuine. Hire a proper team, or build a proper team. Hire a proper co-founder, one who can have a good strength of your weakness, and invest money in technology. For example, today we have invested for a Google Meet, and we are doing this. That was a fantastic thing. That's the reason we are able to communicate, virtually connect, and learn in this very tough time. Correct. So you have to invest in a technology. You have to outsource non-essentials. Very important. No, I will create a belt. I will create a PCB. That takes a lot of time. Nobody. That's the reason. If you go to a market very late, no, you can't get it. See, think that vaccine. If vaccine doesn't come this year, if it has come in after 3 years, no, do you think like it has created more hype? No. Time to market is very important, which I did a mistake in putting. That has to be overcome. Nobody has to do that. Then improve marketing, definitely. You have to reach the people, like a lot of ads, a lot of things like why Byju's is so famous, like because of famous cricketer Virat Kohli wears that with a jersey of Byju's. That's a great thing, right? That marketing strategies are required, a lot of things like today MPL is famous because he knows he has marketed that, like he has around 100 million viewers in the Instagram. 100 million viewers will see his post. You have to identify the way of marketing. See, for example, sir, I will talk more about my product in the my product is something called device drivers based technology. I will talk it in Instagram. Nobody see boss. That's not the right place. Instagram is something else for enjoyment. Nobody talks, listen to your device drivers. This platform, like if I pitch my idea here, dear guys, I have done something, a great technology, something like it will teach you a mathematics in half an hour. That application is available with me. You can download it freely. This is the market. This is the way to market. Like in this other place, 100 students are there with me currently. I can market whatever I wanted to sell it for a student. Absolutely. I can sell my webinar. I can do a lot of things. I can sell my technologies, which is related to students. You have to find the right platform and you have to sell it. That's called an improve marketing, improve reputation. That means you have to create a brand name, brand awareness. That's a different thing, different story to create it. That means you have to have all the legalities, liabilities, equity, shares, market, and have to have a good profile, and you have to have a good office infrastructure. You have to have IEC, ISO, GST registrations, MCA corporate affairs, all the license. Then you can say that is a well-reputed company. For example, if any of the companies comes to your campus and if they hire, you will definitely check their website and you see if it looks like a dummy, you will not go and you will not accept that offer. Correct. In the same way, you have to build a reputation to hire people. Before hiring any people, any high-end people, like you have to build your reputation. Then make your startup without how I'll tell you, maybe you are aware about Ankur Vaiko. Many people have, like one person has founded that nearby.com. If he doesn't go to office also, that will sell, that will run, and you can make money. That's how, for example, you should not work. You should try on scale up side. That's where the stage, without you, the company has to run. If you don't go for one day, say for example, you are founder of your NCET. If he doesn't come one day, the college will run. That's the stage, if your principal doesn't come for one day, your college will run. That's how you have to build your team, you build your company, you build your startup. That's a fantastic thing. Don't get don't get scared. It's very easy, very simple. You have to follow the process formula. You have to follow all the steps. That's it. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, the exponential growth. I was talking about 100, 500, 5 lakh, 50 crore. That's how you have to wait for a stage. You have to do a pull shot. You have to take your step back and you have to wait for an opportunity. And when everything is built properly, then you have to go for an exponential thinking. So before all these things, my dear friends, I just want to say, you have to think that whether your business is scalable or not. Some businesses, for example, I'll tell you, a Pani Puri guy, let's take a simple example, Pani Puri guy. Okay, leave it. So let's take an example for petals. Okay, so one who sells these saplings. Okay, so he can't scale into huge. He can't scale like in Byju's. No, what he can do is he can put the 3-4 branches in the same city, or he can put some different, in estates. He can put some branches and he can sell. What he can do is he can earn 5,000 to 6,000, 6,000 to 7,000. He can incremental thinking. He can do an incremental thinking, not an exponential. But Byju's has an idea which is very scalable, platform. They can exponentially grow. Zoom has an exponentially grow. Google has marketing something like exponentially thinking and exponentially grow it. And your watch, which I have taken example, that is an exponential market. If they found that artificial intelligence is proved properly in your watch, definitely it can do a miracle in the country, and people can take that. For example, if at least 2 lakh people has purchased your product, and you will become millionaire. That's right. That's called the scalable business. Until you realize your product, you have to wait. Patience is very important in startup. Patience is absolutely important. You should be more confident of anybody than anybody. Your professor says, no, this doesn't work. If you have a guts and if you have a confidence in the product, you should wait. You should think, and you should wait for an opportunity. That's how you can do a scale up. Scale up is a very broad concept, but let me take it. If I get any time, I'll take it in another session on scale up. So the final thing I just want to talk about the reasons for student entrepreneurs. This is crazy. I'll go directly on live webinars. Like then people ask me, sir, why so many will get failed? If I say I will become an entrepreneur, my mom will kill me. She said I have to go for an Infosys with a package of 10 lakh. That's a fantastic life. Student entrepreneurs fails. It's not because of the choice, because of all these six steps. I can say like, the first thing is rapid growth. They think, the sixth one, you should look at here. They think that, that is like, 5,400 square feet. That's their problem. They will think over expansion. They will think in a larger way. They will not formula. They will not follow all this procedure. They will think about the product. They will imagine. They will dream a lot. That's the reason student entrepreneurs will fail once they could not accomplish that goals. They have to split into short-term goals, long-term goals. Then only it works actually. Any tech startup has to be split into short-term and long-term goals. The next thing is not in touch with customers' needs. Like maybe, like if you would have done, say for example, I have done my project and like, or some concept. If I don't go to my customers, then definitely I will not get to know whether that is acceptable to my customers or not. I'll tell you, there are masks, face shields. Everyone are accepting it. There are a lot of things like beyond that. Correct. There are an oxygen-based mask. People doesn't accept that. Correct. So you have to understand what's the customer requirements. 50 rupees mask, definitely it will go. You are selling it for 500, no, it will not go. It may go, but like it's not a scalable. Correct. So you have to understand the customer needs. Based on that, you have to create a business model. Next is poor financial management. See, for example, if you are going to invest your 5,000 rupees, that has to be invested very properly. It's not something like crazy. If you get a project funding for 50 lakh, what will you do suddenly? The financial management for this. That's the reason I've said like first you have to contact a CA or legal associate who can guide you on all those things, and he will explain you what is the expense, how much expense is required, what's the legalities like in future you have to face. All these things has to be properly allotted. Then non-profitable business. That's what if you're doing like sapling business, and if you think that I wanted to become 100 crore business, that's not possible, boss. You have to think the business model in that way, such a way, what you want to achieve, whether you want to achieve in a money stage, whether you want to create a great product, you want to serve the society, you have to think of that. So lack of uniqueness. So you can relate my story, which I've told, which I've done mistake in 2014. Uniqueness was not there, and value we have not added. If we would have added any other or extra additional feature for that, that could have worked. And the last thing is leadership. Yes, definitely. If you have a leadership skill, you can run the startup. You can become a CEO, you can become a founder, you can become anything. The leadership skills are very important. Don't look that leader means it's not sitting in an office chair and ordering it. No, it's not. You have to do the things, everything. And you have to show to them. That's what the leadership skills. Leadership skills are very less in students. Like they will understand or realize it little later. These are the few reasons I have just added here, just for your understanding. There are a lot of other technical reasons. These reasons might be because of if you follow all the steps also, then if you face this issue, that might be your personal issues and all. Might be your parent doesn't support a lot of things, but today everybody supports, everyone, including the college supports. You have to utilize that. So next, simple. Don't go like this. Taking car and heavily that doesn't work. You have to go with all these phases. You have to go through, and you have to finally reach that. And that's how you can become a scale up. That's how you can make money with your product. You can release, you can achieve many things, fame, name, and money. Things will come only with your entrepreneurship skills. I hope you all found interesting in all the topics today which I spoke. Lastly, so tell me, you have spoken a lot of things that is also in 1.5 hours you have covered many things which is undigestible, we are feeling heavy in your stomach. How you can help. I am a startup consultant. I can ideate your immature ideas. I can help you as a technology consultant for a SaaS platform. I work as an accelerator for your ideas if you have anything. So if you wanted to reach me, you can directly contact IIC team. You can reach to Dr. Yashwantan. my I can say he is a brilliant research head. What I have faced, come across in my life, you can reach him. He will connect me directly. Thank you, for being me for 1 hour 30 minutes almost. And right now, let's see if you have any questions. I'm extremely happy to listen. I want to see whether you are sleeping or not. Any students? If you don't have any questions, then you are going to start a startup tomorrow morning in your college, and you are getting incubation.
That's what I'm expecting.
Thank you so much, sir.
I am sitting completely. You have given a beautiful, complete life cycle of the whole process, holistic process that you have given to the students. I hope that the students of NCET are coming up with the more number of startups.
Definitely, maybe you will face a lack of rooms to give an incubation for them. Maybe all 96 startups will come tomorrow morning and they will stand in front of your chamber. Yes. Hello guys, are you there? Can you please tell me if you have any questions?
Chiranth, can I ask a question? Professor Chiranth Ramesh?
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, this is Sachinarayan Raju. I'm a mentor in the Nagarjuna College of Engineering.
Great, sir.
Yeah, it's so nice listening you on most burning and critical, interesting, important topic of the country.
Yes.
Anybody conduct this workshop doesn't fit into our requirement because our students will have a different requirement. But today you fit exactly to our student requirement. I must congratulate you.
Thank you so much, sir.
A very tough topic. My question here is, conducting presentation on entrepreneurship or how to become an entrepreneur as tough as climbing a Mount Everest, that you have done it. You have motivated so well all our students. But the second question starts is, the motivation won't last even for a month because they're all tied up with so many activities, and again negative thinking so much. What will happen to my 1 lakh rupees if I start something? If I won't be successful, what my community people will thinking? But can you suggest us how to get a mentor who actually literally help to initiate a thought into a project proposal, and project proposal into an action plan, and the action plan sustaining over a period of a year or two till that startup gets some name and fame, minimum return to survive? Do you have mentorship program or mentoring agencies where they literally guide on day-to-day basis or weekly basis till particular startup survive at least for 2 to 3 years? This is my question, Chiranth. Hope I made sense.
Yes. Your question is very much understand. I can suggest. See, it's so many people comes to me and ask me, sir, I have an idea how to make that idea to an execution. First thing is they need a place, and lot of ideas doesn't need money itself. That's what I wanted to make a point. The first point is, if your idea is consuming lot of money, then that is not a startup. That might be your organization. So, see, for example, so what you have to find, the first step is you have to find the right tech giant who supports you technically without any financial things. That's very important. Second thing is, today there are hundreds of accelerators like me who can do a service for the students on weekends, and they can help with their queries. There are hundreds, not only me, there are hundreds of people are ready to do it. They have to find the market or the niche level. For example, if somebody is doing a software thing, so they have to find a person who having a skills in a software side. If they go and ask somebody who has good at robotics or something mechanical department, they don't guide them. So finding out their niche is a first figure level. So they have to understand the technology, what they are going to do, product, everything. They have to map it. They have to actually frame a business plan, or I can say they have to frame a paper, what's their concept and what it does. That's it. And they should understand when to go and whom to reach. So it's very critical today. So if you go and approach any accelerator, that idea might get shared with different people. So that is also there. That's the reason very simple steps, like they have to create small kind of a registration through incubation centers like your college, so they can approve this idea has been approved by NCET on so and so 6th or 26th of June 2021. That is approved. So then they can go for a trademark. That's the reason I told no, don't need to go for a private limited. Your organization is already has that. They have to do only a product registration, name registration, business name registration. So they have to cut down the prices how much ever possible. They have to do that. Second thing, there are two kinds of business people will think. One, they will do themselves the product. That means the tech guy, that doesn't require anybody's help or survivability. Second thing is people need service. That means business partners. They have to create the products. They are capable to tune it and they can sell it. So they should consider which category they fall. The first category, if they are having good technological skills, they can create the product with the research team inside the college. Then there is no need to spend any penny on anybody. Hundreds of people are there who can connect with accelerators. So they can invest small amount of money. For example, they can invest some 50,000, 1 lakh, and they can get all the components for them and they can build. And that doesn't make big sense for them. Second is very critical part where they want business partners. Business partner doesn't do it for free. So then that is a stage they should find a way to go for a crowdfunding. So listen to me very carefully, all the students. Crowdfunding, there is a concept called crowdfunding. For example, I'll take an example of FPGA board. You can correlate with electronics. So you wanted to create a board, a simple basic experiment. Well, let me take an example of lab equipment tool. You want to create a great lab equipment tool where you can do your analog communication, digital communication, all in a single kit. That's what you are going to create a product. That's your product. So you will be going to technically specify this is what the final approach. There are a lot of, maybe you have seen Cato, the company called Cato will do a crowdfunding for the people who has health issues and all. They will collect the fund and they will give to the concerned person. Similarly, there is for technology, there is a crowdfunding. So there are a lot of websites. I can just email you on all the links of a crowdfunding list so that you can go and approach them. If your idea is not safe, then definitely they are going to put it on their website. And if they feel that will comes in dollars, euros, they whoever it may be in the world, they can just donate it. That they'll do it. So that just if the concept is requires money, then they can do with the crowdfunding. That's a fantastic topic, which to make a money for their developmental activities. That's what they can do.
Yes, Chiranth, sir has congratulated. Yes, sir. Yes,
thank
please
you.
continue.
Thank you, Chiranth. Ramesh, it was a very, very lucid, very crisp answer to my question. You have covered all important aspects to meet my question. Thank you very much. I would like to thank our principal, sir, for arranging this workshop and all our HODs, deans, and faculty and staff. Excellent webinar, sir. I congratulate all volunteers and staff. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, actually, sir, there are some questions, Mr. Chiranth.
Yes.
So if you have these questions may take some time. So I'll give one-on-one contact to them because
Yes.
see, sir, for your information, Chiranth is my student. Okay, he's my bachelor's. When he was doing his bachelor's, I was his professor. So you can contact me anytime if I want to. I can divert the questions to him. Rohit sir has asked, sir, you can please contact because it is already off the schedule. So yes, if you want, sir, we can ask. So sir has asked. Yes, sir. Rohit sir, please.
Yeah, the question was any funding opportunity from government of Karnataka or government of India, because nowadays SMSC some scheme is there. So
MSME,
any
sir.
specific MSME, correct?
Yes.
Any specific funding opportunity that I wanted to know. It was excellent presentation. I was there from morning to now.
Yes.
So if you please, anything is there, please brief. Yeah.
So there are stages, but you have to reach them with the project proposal. I don't think so. Government will fund you for anything to start it up. I don't think so. There is no such facilities from the government side. But the private sectors has this. That's where we call it as an investors, venture capitalist, and all those things. So they'll just do that, like, to start, like, if they like your pitch, the idea, definitely they will fund it. So from the government side, it might come like that might be not useful for us also. So right now, as per my knowledge, no funding is provided for a startup until it realizes any product.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, NCET team. Thank you, Dr. Yashwant, sir, like, for giving me opportunity. It was a great opportunity. Thank you, principal, sir. Thank you, management, NCET. Thank you, students. Thank you, faculties. I hope, like, you like my session. Thank you, one and all. I'm signing off. Thank you.
God bless you.
Wait, Chiranth, wait.
All the best
Principal
for
sir
your
need to
future
come.
endeavors.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you very
Yes.
much. It was good.
Yes. Students, we have shared the feedback link regarding this webinar. So please fill it and please attend this 2 p.m. webinar. It is also based on innovation. So you people may get interested. I think the resource person has left. So if you have any questions, you can ask the resource person directly, because I didn't get any questions from students. So if you have any questions, we can have 2 to 3 minutes of your time, so that any questions from students, please.
I'm extremely happy if you just, like, any questions from students. If it is dummy, laughable, anything, please, you can go ahead. And I'll tell you one more thing. If you have an idea, I'll give you free consultation support if you ask me questions right now. I'll give you 1 hour complete session, 1-on-1.
It's a nice offer, students. You can ask any questions. Yes. Anyhow, we'll get in touch, Mr. Ramesh.
Can I
Yes,
ask
yes,
you
yes.
questions?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
That
ma'am.
was a nice presentation. It was really nice because I think for students level, making them understand, it was really excellent. So I congratulate the speaker and the people who have brought him. It was really nice. So my questions, I have a few certain questions here. The first thing is, during this pandemic, number of startups had to close because of the financial crunch. In such a scenario, what opportunities do you foresee? What opportunities? Because students can think on those lines also. So, what are the opportunities available to startups? This is my first question.
Okay.
Second question is, there are a number of qualities we associate with a successful entrepreneur. It might be being a visionary, or maybe a risk-taking person, or innovative. According to you, what is that one quality should a successful entrepreneur possess? This is my second question. I have many more. I think you can answer these two, sir.
Okay, you can go ahead for any number of questions, ma'am. Let me answer for your first question. So you said, like, startups are getting failed and crunched because of their sustainability model. So business model was something like that, because they have scaled over, like, the growth was over. For example, like, if you have hired 50 employees, this giving salary for 50 employees with the net profit, they are running equally. For example, they are getting 2 lakh profit on every month. They're giving a salary of 1,90,000. That's what they were running. They were not in a vintage stage. They've never taken, for example, see, any startup, if they run for 3 years, then they will become a vintage. Then only the government will provide, any startup India committees will provide you the funding. The funding means, I can say, loan, for example, based on their evaluation or whatever it may be. So those funds also, they are not eligible. So the startups are a company who have got collapsed. All are below vintage companies without a proper business model on sustaining at this very tough times. And this COVID time, whatever we faced, it's like, it's unexpected and nobody has prepared. That's the reason. And it was very much required. This happens, has changed a lot of things. Like, today we run an office, we are, like, at everybody's homes, like, we have cut down a lot of expenses. That's what the beautiful thing. Earlier, it's not like that. People has to come to office. They want, like, if you are starting up, you need an office. Now it's not required. You can run through your home. You can make money. So that is the one big change happened. So for students, it is very much helping. Earlier, they have to create an office, infrastructure, all these business activities, license, legalities. No, Now it is not required. And one more thing I just wanted to punch here is the government of Ministry of Corporate Affairs, one who gives the private limited license, so has changed a lot of rules in 2021. That is you can do many activities. They have increased the the funding. So earlier, if you wanted to get a fund from anybody, you need to get an approval through a current account, bank details, a lot of risk. Now to start a startup till 3 years, up to 20 lakh, there is no risk at all. No legal activity, no legal documents required, no license information is required. So they can start immediately. This is the right stage to start any kind of a business, and everything is online. They can cut off an expense. That's the right thing. For a student, it's a good time to start. Even though a lot of crunch happened, everything will boom again in next 2 years, next 2 or 3 years. So they can build their product by that time. They should have a futuristic product. That's it. They should not do anything for today. That's it. And second question. So you asked what kind of an attitude required for students who wants to become an entrepreneur at the student life itself. So let me explain in that way. So students going out of the college and getting entrepreneur, it's a old book story, and which will not entertained in future. Students who become an entrepreneur at the time of college, then they will become shy because they can reach 2,000 people immediately, because college will be having 2,000 people. They can reach to 2,000 people. Mouth marketing is so easy. College will help, professor will help. If you go out of a college, start your startup, only you and your co-founder. So first thing is who starts first. Second thing is go-getter attitude is very important. I said you have to go CA legalities. If somebody in the student's mentality, if they said, I don't know any CA, so how can I start? No, that is not. You have to find a way. So very important, point is go-getter attitude is very important for student entrepreneurs to start immediately, quickly, and following all these formulas. I hope I have answered your question, ma'am.
Yes, you answered. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I have 2 more questions. I'll connect personally with you. Thank you very much.
Sure. That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Shruti madam, you can please continue.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. Chiranth, sir, thank you for the informative session. I now request Mr. Balaji, sir, to present the vote of thanks.
Yeah, I think, Balaji sir is there. Yeah. Please continue, sir.
No, Yashwant sir, Balaji sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thanks for the nice arrangement, sir. Chiranth has really presented well and enlightened. So I wanted to give my prompt feedback. So thanks for the nice arrangement. Good work, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Dinesh, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. It was a really excellent presentation, and it was very informative also. On behalf of IIC NCET and on behalf of management NCET, I thank wholeheartedly. I thank Mr. Chiranth for accepting our invitation and giving such a nice presentation. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, NCET team.
I thank Principal, Management, Dean Mohan sir, and President Yashwant sir, and all the HODs, staff coordinators, and all the students for attending this webinar and supporting us and making this webinar a successful one. Thank you, one and all.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Thank you, sir. So we'll. Yes, ma'am. Please continue.
Please, all of you fill the feedback, and the e-certificate will be issued in some days. And thank you all for attending this webinar. We have one more continued session at 2 p.m. All are requested to join.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chiranth. We'll just have a talk after this. Huh?
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you for a great opportunity. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, NCET. Bye. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Wear mask. Sanitize yourself. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.